we did this. First, you determine your budgeted fixed overhead for the period. What's your budget? $1 million in fixed overhead. You choose what variable to use to apply it, say direct labor. You choose the denominator level. Let's say you choose practical capacity, how much you can practically use of your direct labor. And then you find your application rate. This is what we did before. Nothing new there. We did this exact problem, I think. They budgeted at 120,000. They budgeted activity for the month of 1,000 units, 5 direct labor hours per unit. Now we'll compute the variances. First thing you have to do is identify the cost per direct labor hour. So they use the budget of 5,000 here, 1,000 units times 5, and they use the budget of 120,000 total cost. So they're expecting $24 per direct labor hour to be their fixed cost that they're going to apply. And this just shows that. So this was given, 120,000. This was given in some way that it actually cost 130,000. Remember we saw that last week, that it cost more than expected. And in the course of the period, we were applying our fixed overhead a little at a time. And but since we only sold 780 units, we underapplied. We only applied $93,600 excuse me. Remember, we were expecting to sell 1,000 units, and we would have applied $120 per unit, and that would have given us this $120,000. But we only produced 780 units, so we only applied 78% essentially of 120,000. And that's what's our applied, so we are under applied. This doesn't mean it's favorable or unfavorable. This U is under applied by 26,400. And we talked about how you have to figure out how to apply this for product costing purposes. This is about as easy a problem as I could do. At the end of the period, that has to absolutely go to 0. And you do, I think we talked about it, you could do it through, and we will talk about it again today, cost of goods sold. You could do it through a few different categories, and you can therefore manage, you can manage your profitability to some degree through that, inappropriately, potentially. So it's an area of risk from an accounting perspective.
Go back and recalculate your labor hours per unit rate.
Would you recalculate this?
Based on the fact that it's
There are different ways of handling it. You wouldn't go backwards in time, but you do have to take this underapplied and allocate it out. Ultimately, this is what has to be, this is what was spent. This has to be costed out. So you have to allocate this out in some fashion. Quite often, it's due to your choice of this denominator. That's what kind of drives the allocation. So what you would do for future periods is rethink this. Why was it so far off? Okay, to do it, it should take about a minute. Calculate the 3 variances here. To production volume variance, the budget variance, and the fixed overhead variance. The budget variance we also call spending variance. This is your actual. This is your budget. And this is your applied. What's this variance here? Which one is this? The production volume. So this is your production volume variance. 33,000 over applied. You applied more than you budgeted for. What's this one? We're calling it the budget variance or the spending variance. Unfavorable. So this is not under applied. This is unfavorable. You spent more than you budgeted. And then your overall is 17,000. So how do you interpret